So, at the end of the last stream, we were waiting basically on power, right? We had everything we needed in order to make the empowered Redstonia crystal block. We had all of the items on the pedestals, and we had our block of Redstonia on the empowerer, and it required, I believe, 4 million redstone flux in order to craft. And apparently it's not called empowered Redstonia. What's it called? It is, yeah, hold on. Oh yeah, it's right there. It just doesn't look like a block of redstone. But anyway, we were making the block of empowered Redstonia, but it required 4 million redstone flux, and you can't actually have 4 million redstone flux kind of preemptively inside of these display stands. You can see that each one can only hold 800,000, and so you have to pump an extra 200,000 into each display stand in order to make it to work. And so we had to set it all up and then just basically wait until it was done. It finished a couple of minutes after I ended the stream. And so if we head on inside here, I actually have our block of Redstonia inside of our carpenter, as well as the iron casing, the iron bars. Did we make the capacitor? We didn't, but I'm fairly certain, actually we're after the machine chassis. In order to make the capacitor, we needed, the empowered Redstonia crystals. Okay, so if we do this and this, we can take these. I'm going to craft this up real quick, just because it's kind of where we left off at the end of the last stream, and I want to wrap that up before I start talking about stuff that I've done between streams and kind of what we're going to work on, hopefully, in today's stream. Where did I put my enriched gold? And then finally some copper electron tubes. I just had these mere moments ago, and I put them away in a chest because I was thinking, I don't need these. There they are. All right. Crafting table, kaboom, kaboom. And then, no, shift click, that's an odd. Oh, it's I'm not in a crafting table, you turkey. Kaboom, kaboom. And you know what? Yeah, I'm going to make two. I'm going to make two because I would like to make, hopefully, like 3 machine chassis in today's stream because I really want to get into some Ender IO, and I would like to get an inventory panel set up. That's one of the things I want to do in today's stream, but getting a bit ahead of ourselves. Before we do that, let's put in the basic capacitor, and then finally, all we need is the sturdy casing, all of the items for which we have in our inventory. We got these at the end of the last stream, and now, of course, we have 500,000 redstone flux in each of these display stands, and so we have the 2 million redstone flux required to do something, I think, like this, and this, if memory serves me right. It does indeed, and in a couple of minutes here, that should give us that last piece of the puzzle in order to make ourselves a carpenter. Now, between streams, I've done a bit more mining because we were kind of running low on a couple of key ingredients. Iron and coal especially, we were really low on. We had like less than a stack of iron, and I think like maybe like just over a stack of coal at the most. And so I went down to about Y level 11 and did a bunch of mining there. Don't worry about this. I also did install Optifine between streams, which I believe is what is causing this madness right here. Don't worry about this. I've no idea what this is about. No other textures seem to be broken like this, but for some reason, the display stand, this kind of trophy here from custom achievements, is just real off. I'm not quite sure why. Again, everything else seems to be completely fine, so just ignore that. But yeah, so now we've got everything over here. I did some mining between streams. I got like maybe a stack and a bit more iron. I got a surprising number of diamonds, I think like 12 or 13, as well as quite a bit of redstone because we were running low on that. And also, we need quite a bit of redstone. And one thing that I did make between streams is this guy over here, the HV capacitor. Now, I wasn't actually quite sure how much redstone flux our original capacitor, our LV capacitor over here, could hold. And originally my plan was going to be to just make another one of these LV capacitors, right? Because they were super easy to make, and it's a nice way of being able to store redstone flux. But after looking at the wiki, it turns out that the LV capacitor can only hold 100,000 redstone flux, which is not an insignificant amount, but when you're working with millions of redstone flux with the display stand and with the empowerer, and when we have to use this empowerer multiple times in order to make a machine chassis to make the machines that I would like to make, I figured we need a bigger capacitor, and so I went ahead and made the HV capacitor, which isn't too hard to make. It's a bit of a crafting chain. I'll show you it real quick here. To make the HV capacitor, you need some steel, some aluminium, some lead, some redstonia crystals, which again is why I said we need quite a bit of redstone. redstone, as well as 2 MV capacitors. 2 MV capacitors requires 2 LV capacitors, as well as some more ingots, and then the LV capacitors are just more ingots, more redstone, and some treated wood, all of which we had. It was just a bit of a craft to get to, but this thing can hold 4 million redstone flux, which is still not really as much as I would like. I would prefer it to be able to hold like maybe 20 million or something like that, because again, the idea of this is kind of to act as a buffer between the water wheels, which are providing most of our power, and the empowerer, which is where we're going to be using most of our power, at least most of our redstone flux, in today's stream. So that's what I've done there. I've also, as you may have guessed, put down 2 extra water wheels. And so if we come on around to the back here, we now have 3 water wheels in total, all spinning away, all fully set up and optimized to produce that 88 redstone flux per tick. So that is all well and good. 2 of them are not hooked up yet, which is something that I want to remedy like right at the start of the stream. I want to get another set of lasers here so we can connect up this guy and this guy. And if, actually, I guess we could probably just move this one. Do you reckon that's... Ooh, I don't know. I'm going to try it. I'll try it for nothing. If we do something like this and then whack this one down like this, I know for a fact that it will connect from here to here. The question is... Excuse me? Oh, it's the wrong wrench. They look so similar. The question is, will it connect from here over to here? No. Okay. Either way, I think that's fine, because I think we've got a lot of leeway between these two, because the other laser is like right here, which is really close to this one. And so we should, in theory, I don't mind breaking the dirt. I know for a fact that that doesn't work, but we'll get rid of this. And we can move this, I think, a little bit closer here. If we put it like right about there, that might still be a bit too far away. It's not perfect, and thankfully, again, because of the way the lasers work, they can transfer right through the water wheel, which is quite nice. Somebody in the Twitch chat said, wait, 88 redstone flux per tick. I can only get to 82. So we went over this a little bit in the last stream, but I'll show it off again, just in case you missed it. We've got... I don't have anything really to climb with. I want to kind of climb up and show you this. But you've got to put water in 3 different places. You need water at the top. You need 3 water source blocks. Let me quickly dig up some dirt here so I can kind of nerd pole up and show you how this works. Is my shovel broken? No, it's fully repaired. I didn't repair that, though. I have no idea how that got fully repaired, but... Nevertheless, we come through here. Basically, it's a bit weird. It's not something that I was aware of until I looked it up. But there are like a few different places you can put the water to get that 88 redstone flux per tick. So the first 3 buckets you want to put right here. That's kind of going to set the full water wheel going. And this is where I normally just kind of stop and just call it a day. You then need 3 more water like right here, which is 2 blocks down from the top to kind of push on the back of the water wheel. And then if I head on down a little bit more, right at the back here, there is a little bit more in the way of water as well, kind of flowing back this way to, again, kind of just help the water wheel go around a little bit. And if you put the water in all 3 of those places, it will go ahead and produce 88 redstone flux per tick. It's a bit of a setup, but at the end of the day, it's just water. Once you've got the water wheel, putting down that water to get the extra redstone flux per tick is actually super easy. So yeah, that is all connected up. Let me quickly see if I can connect this over to the laser on our multi-farm, which has been running away since the end of the last stream, doing its thing. It does connect. That's good. I did also realize that it does require a constant supply of water, right? During the last stream, we were kind of dubious. Like, I didn't know if it needed a constant supply of water or if it just required a bit of water in order to put down, like, the little pockets around here. I'm not quite sure why we got sand either. Oh, actually, I think the hummus turns to sand after a while, so you have to give it like a constant supply of dirt. Let me check that real quick here. If I do this, is that going to replace the sand? It does. Okay, so this is also going to give us a constant supply of sand, which I guess is nice. You know, we always need glass, and so having sand around, it's not going to hurt, but originally I thought it might just require water for the initial setup, but it turns out that it does require a constant supply of water to keep the farm running. It uses water every time it like places blocks down and picks block up and all kinds of that stuff, and so at some point, I would like to set up an unlimited water source here, but for the most part, the farm has been doing just fine. We've got a lot of wood. I've already taken out some canola from here and put it into our canola press just to give it a bit of an edge in terms of power, so we've got some ready for the start of the stream here, and I'll go ahead and do the same thing right about now as well. We do still need to... I was going to say we do still need to get another set of lasers, but I guess in the interest of laziness, I could just use this one, and we could just move kind of this one laser around to each empowerer. You know what? No. Okay. What I'm going to do, I am going to use this laser here to connect up our third water wheel, but what I'm then going to do is I'm going to make another set of lasers so that I can hook up each of these remaining 3 empowerers without having to move the laser around. Because what I've been doing up until now is just picking up the laser, putting it down again, connecting it up, picking it up, putting it down, connecting it again, every time that I need to move it, and every time that I need a different display stand to get power, which is just, it's pointless, right? It's just a needless grind that I'm creating for myself. So instead, let's go and put down this one final laser here, and then once we've got that, we'll move over and put down the extra lasers by our empowerer. The garden cloche is kind of OP, and it's better if you ask me. I do intend to make it. The only reason I made the multi-farm, kind of because it's in the quest book, but also because it's kind of fairly easy to make and then easy to maintain. So we'll set that up, and you can also grow trees as well, which you can't do, as far as I know, in the cloth. I don't know how you pronounce it. We looked at it a little bit before when we saw it at, I think, Varisk space, but nevertheless, that is all connected up now. I do like these like lines of lasers here. I like when they're in straight lines. I'm not a huge fan of when they go straight through the water wheel like this. But anyway, this is fine. And now that we have the sturdy casing, what we can do is we can put that in here like so. And once we give this carpenter some water, we should be able to move on into the Ender Age and make our very first machine chassis. And of course, by water, I do indeed mean seed oil. And so if we do something like this, get our bucket of seed oil, put it into the carpenter, and then just wait, it should start to do what we want. You can see we do have a nice backlog of power over in the coal generator, and so that should start to do its thing any second now. And if we give it just a few more seconds, we should get our first machine chassis. There we go. All right, perfect. I think we have to do this and this. Please? Excuse me? Yo, is the server, like, really laggy? Oh, there we go. All right. And then we get a trophy. We have entered the new age. We've entered the 5th age, the Ender Age. Let's go ahead and whack down another glitchy-ass trophy over here. There we go. We did it. Flippin' heck. It's about time. We've been in the farming age for such a long time now. We can finally move on into the Ender Age. The next stage, of course, is the Automation Age. And I think before we can get into the Automation Age, we do need to go to the end, because it does say at the top here, now that you can make end rods, you can finally make the RF Tools machine frame. And if we look at the recipe here for the RF Tools machine frame, I think it is pretty expensive. The most expensive part of it, I think, is almost certainly going to be the end rod. Which isn't too bad, I guess. Like, if we can get a blaze spawner going, that shouldn't be too much of a problem. But I've never used this popped chorus fruit? I think it's chorus fruit. I've never used this, and I've never seen it. I haven't really been to the end. Post 1.9, I think, is when they added, like, the new end villages and whatnot. And so I'm not quite sure how that's going to go, and how, if there's an easy way for us to get, like, a good source of these fruits here, without just constantly going back to the end to get them. But I do plan to go on to the end, maybe in today's stream, because we do need quite a lot of ender pearls as well in today's stream. And actually, we also need to get an ender head, because, as I mentioned earlier in today's stream, if we type in the inventory panel, and if I can actually spell inventory panel like that, I would like to make this, because our inventory situation is absolutely atrocious. It is real bad. Like, I've got 8 chests, 8 just standard chests, and they are all filled randomly with trash. Just random amounts of random trash. And so if something's not in the storage drawers over here, I just don't know where it is. I found like 2 stacks of redstone in this chest earlier, which is of course supposed to be in the storage drawers. And so what I want to do is I want to make a few more storage drawers, try and get everything that we have into storage drawers, and then if we set up a controller, use that controller and connect it up to the inventory panel, we should, I believe, be able to access all of the stuff in our storage drawer system from the one inventory panel and make a kind of mid-game pseudo applied energistics system that's not quite as good as applied energistics, but will hopefully allow us to get the job done as I mentioned, to do that, we do need to get this sentient enderman. For that, we do, of course, need an enderman head. And so I feel like the best way for us to do that is going to be to make a good tinker sword. Once we get a good tinker sword, make it better, you know, with some modifiers, and then take that through to the end, fight a bunch of endermen, try and get some of that chorus fruit while we're there if we can. And then once we've got that, come back, make the slice and splice, try and get this set up, and see what we can do. So, to get this, I think that we are going to need 4 machine chassis, if I'm not mistaken. Do I need one for this? I don't. So I don't think I actually need a machine chassis for the inventory panel itself, which is nice, because the machine chassis is quite expensive in Redstone Flux, if nothing else. Thankfully, I don't need a machine chassis for the inventory panel itself, but I do need to get an alloy smelter, which is probably the first thing that we're going to make, because it's required to make, like, the dark steel. We also need it to make the pulsating crystals and the pulsating iron, and so that requires a machine chassis. Thankfully, once you got the machine chassis, I don't think the rest of the alloy smelter is that hard to make. Yeah, it's just some furnaces, some iron, and a cauldron. It's actually super easy to make, and once we got that, we also need to get ourselves a slice and splice so we can turn that ender head into the sentient ender required for the inventory panel. And then we also need to get ourselves a vat, because the vat can produce nutrient distillation, which can then be used to actually power the inventory panel, because the inventory panel not only requires redstone flux, but also... Does it require redstone flux? I feel like it does, but I might be wrong on that. But I know for a fact that it requires nutrient distillation. You can see there it does say uses nutrient... Oh, it doesn't require power, I guess, because it uses nutrient distillation for power. And to get nutrient distillation... I can't speak. To get nutrient distillation, we do need to get ourselves a vat, which also requires a machine frame. And then once we've got that, we also need a soul binder and the soul of a witch. I don't think the witch should be too hard to find. I think we just have to go out and try and find one. Once we've got that, we can then get the soul binder, which requires more heads. It's gonna be a bit of a setup, guys. I'm not gonna lie. It's not an easy mod pack by any stretch of the imagination, but I think that we can do it. Mr. Ninja did say in the Twitch chat, enjoy the silicon grind. That is a fair point. The silicon in this pack is not as easy as it might normally be. You do have to go through Industrial Craft 2 and the silicon dioxide. You'll see here we need a centrifuge. I think we already have a centrifuge, but maybe not. We've got a carpenter, we've got a squeezer. Yeah, we've got a centrifuge right there. So we do have to do that. To get the silicon dioxide, we do need a thermal centrifuge from Industrial Craft 2, which isn't too hard to make. It's not too bad. We need our first advanced circuit, which is going to require quite a bit of redstone flux and quite a bit of time with the empowerer, but it's not too bad. And then after that, I think we're good. To make the silicon dioxide, we need clay dust. And to get clay dust, I guess we should go with the one from Industrial Craft 2. It's just clay in a macerator. So it's not the easiest thing in the world, but that is my next goal, right? The next goal that I have is to get to the inventory panel. Once we've got the inventory panel, we can then start to think about moving on into the automation age, maybe even the nuclear age and atomic age, etc., and we'll use that inventory panel until we get to the atomic age, new age. Yeah, the new age. Now that you can craft the thermal binder, you are now able to start with applied energetics too. So the inventory panel is hopefully going to carry us from age 5 through to age 9 in terms of storage and crafting and all that kind of stuff. So all that talking out of the way, all that intro setup done and dusted. Now we've got the machine chassis. Let's make our first alloy smelter, I guess. That's probably a good place to start, because the alloy smelter, flipping heck, you know, I cannot spell today, but the alloy smelter is going to probably require quite a bit of time, because we're probably not going to get any capacitors anytime soon. To speed it up, and it does require not a whole lot of power unless it's been tweaked, but it does require definitely some power, and some power is, I would say, probably a little more than we have to spare right now. We don't really have that much in the way of redstone flux spare. Some people did mention in the previous stream those thermoelectric generators. Is that what they're called? Yeah, the thermoelectric generators. I didn't get an answer. Let me quickly Google this. Are these any good? Because we do need a lot of redstone flux. Thermoelectric generator, immersive engineering. This is Isaac Googling stuff live. Thermoelectric generator, the good old Feed the Beast wiki. So, it says max redstone output, max RF output is 256. Oh, but that's its output, that's not its production. It can produce up to 62 redstone flux per tick, which is not an insignificant amount. Maybe like 25. You put it between lava and water. That's not too bad. We might set some of those up because we do need power, right? We could set up more water wheels, of course, but I do like to diversify a little bit. And I don't want to just have like a massive wall of like 50 water wheels. I don't want to have to do the same thing over and over again on stream, of course, because it just gets boring eventually. So let's do this. Let's get ourselves the 2 furnaces. Once we've got those, do we need 2 or 3 furnaces? Alloy, smelter. 3 furnaces. Okay, we don't have, we've kind of hit the exact opposite of our original problem. We've got like no cobblestone because I've been throwing it all away in this bag. I take the trash bag with me every time I go down in the mine, so I don't end up with an inventory just full of cobblestone. But on the flip side there, it means that we don't have the cobblestone when we need to make like furnaces and whatnot. This has nicely gone through all of the odds I put in there, which is good. And so if we do something like this, and then like this, we have ourselves an alloy smelter. Nice. Now, before we go anywhere, I did mention, and I kind of got a bit sidetracked talking about the inventory panel and all of the other stuff that I want to do, but I was going to make some lasers so we can get some more power around our base. And really the only thing that we don't have here, apart from these gold cables, is obsidian. And you may or may not notice that I have a big old tank full of lava that I got just before the stream for this exact purpose, so that I can pump our smelter here full of lava. We've already got 1 bucket worth of water in there from the last stream, and now if we quickly head on over to our unlimited water source that is right next to our forestry farm, we should be able to get 14 pieces of obsidian nice and quickly, and once we got those, we can of course start to make all of those lasers nice and easily. And it should be all well and good. Molecular transformer, yes or no? That's a very odd question. Molecular transformer. I think it's going to be expensive, is my guess. Yeah. I mean, the advanced machine casings are doable. We've made them before. The advanced circuits are also doable, albeit a bit expensive. The empty core is really where it gets quite pricey with uranium and whatnot. What do we need the molecular transformer for in this mod pack? I know it's normally used to transfer, like, items. It uses, like, an item and power to make another item, usually, right? Turns 1 iron into 1 iridium with 9 million EU? Really? Really? 14 buckets. I want to make sure that I don't put all 14 in, because I would like my smeltery to be pretty much empty here. I don't want it to have 1 random leftover bucket like it did last time. All right, there we go. Good stuff, good stuff. I'll just put this down, like, there for now. Why not? So that should start to make us a bunch of obsidian. That obsidian I want to be pulled out. Not there. No, please turn off. Stop. There we go. Oh, that's not going to be good. That's not what I want to do at all. But that's fine. We'll leave that there for now. That's going to pull out almost all of our obsidian. We're going to have, like, a little bit of odd obsidian left in there now because of the fact that we've put, like, how much in here? Oh, no, maybe not. Because I think 144 millibuckets is 1 obsidian? Maybe? I know 144 millibuckets is 1 ingot worth normally. Like if you put an ore in there, it'll give you 1 ingot is 144 millibuckets. But I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure. So I don't think we have any of those Redstonia crystals right now, and so I'm going to quickly grab a stack of redstone. I'm also going to quickly top up my baguette supply because we're running a little bit low, and we've got no shortage of wheat right now. You know, we've got our little greenhouse is still churning out wheat left, right, and center. I think it's probably still legitimately churning out wheat left, right, and center. It's probably like throwing it on the floor because it's got nowhere else to put it. There's nothing here yet, but this thing is filling up fast with wheat. So we're fine on food for the time being. Let us quickly craft this up. I think, is this faster? Like, give me a second here. Let's see. Redstonia crystals. 1 crystal. I don't know how much redstone flux it requires to make with the assembler, 40. And then how much does a block require? A block requires 400, so it's cheaper to do it with individual crystals? Because individual crystals, there are 9 blocks, 9 redstone in a block, right? And 9 times 40 is only 360 as opposed to 400. So I guess it's actually cheaper in terms of redstone just to do something like this and like this, as opposed to doing like a block, doing it in block form. The blocks take up more redstone flux. I think I'm right on that, but I could be mistaken. There's dough in there? Yeah, we've got dough all over the place. We've got dough all over the place. I think, you're talking about in here? Yeah, 64 dough. I think we've got like another stack of dough in one of our chests somewhere as well. We've got so much dough, it's actually ridiculous. Not the money dough, that would have been a lot nicer to have. But nevertheless, let me see here. Lasers, what are we missing now? We need 2 blocks of redstone. We need some black quartz as well as those 8 pieces of gold cable. So let's take one of you, head on back over to here, and I think we should be good to go. We also need 2 blocks of redstone, so let's quickly grab 18 redstone out of our storage drawer. Good stuff. Kaboom, 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 boom, boom, and boom, boom, and boom. There we go. All right. We now have ourselves the 4 extra lasers here. Okie dokie. People told me to make a sharpening tool. I think I saw sharpening tool earlier on in the Twitch chat. Is that to do with the obsidian plate that I pulled out, but only half pulled out? I'm not quite sure. But nevertheless, let us come back over to here. And so my idea basically is to have lasers connected to all of these display stands to make sure that all of the power that we're getting from our water wheels and storing in our HV capacitor here can actually go through to all of these lasers without me having to manually kind of move the one laser that we had all around here. I'm going to connect all of these to kind of one central laser because I think, if I'm not mistaken, if we do it like this, it will transfer the power evenly, whereas if I did it kind of in sequence, if I connected from here to here, and then from here to here, and here to here, and did it in like a circle, I think it would like give power to this one first, then this one, then this one, then this one. I'm not 100% certain on that. Don't quote me on that, but I think that's how that works. But now that all this is done, we do have quite a bit of power backed up here, which is nice. And also we've got an extra 4 million over in this capacitor as well, which means we should be fairly easily able to make ourselves another machine chassis, right? So to make this, we've already actually got another capacitor, right? I did have a second one. Did I put it away in the chest? I might have done. As yeah, now to make another machine chassis here, we need a little bit more seed oil, but thankfully we are kind of rolling in seeds right now. We got quite a bit in terms of wheat seeds, but we've got so much canola seeds, so many canola seeds, I should say, if I'm using English correctly. So I'll whack those in there. That should get us over 1,000 once that's done. We just need to make another sturdy casing and another iron casing, which shouldn't be too hard for us to do. We've got everything we need now, so we can just whack all this into the carpenter like that. And like that. Do we have 1,000 millibuckets of seed oil? We do indeed. Kaboom, kapow, kapow. There we go. And boom, we are pretty much ready to go. It's going to make us the machine chassis. The question is, what are we going to do with this machine chassis? So like I said, the inventory panel is my end game. But to get it, we need a soul binder and we need a slice and splice. And so I think before we get into... Well, I mean, yeah. Yeah, okay, so before we get into that, before we get into using our machine chassis, we do need to make at least one more machine casing, and we'll do that a little bit later on in today's stream. But before we get into using that machine chassis, I want to make a Tinker's Construct sword, right? And not this one. We have a stone sword, but it is trash. It's like really, really, really bad. And so instead, we are going to try and make a decent Tinker's Construct sword. We're going to make it good. We're going to build it up, and then we're going to go to the end, fight some Endermen. We're going to have to give it beheading. So one of the attributes we're going to have to give the sword is beheading, so we can actually try and get the Ender head for the Ender resonator, but also in order to make the soul binder, we need a Enderman head, a creeper head, a skeleton head, and a zombie head, which might prove difficult. I'm not going to lie, but we'll find out. So I'm thinking that we're going to go with the Manyullyn blade, because if we type in sword into JEI here, the Manyullyn swords have, from what I could tell at least, the highest attack of all of these. And we might go with a broadsword maybe just because it's like the simplest one. But does anybody in Twitch chat have any recommendations for like a good sword material, you know? It's going to be, I want it to have a lot of attack, preferably, so it can kill Enderman quickly and kill all mobs quickly. And I would also like it to have beheading, right? And I guess, again, preferably, I want it to have the highest level of beheading that we can get. So what's it? Hey, Unbreakable Sword? An Unbreakable Sword would be nice, but I don't think that we could modify an Unbreakable Sword too well. It's a bit weird, really, right? Because the hammer and the lumber axe that we've got here, I made out of paper, made them unbreakable, and then upgraded them after the fact, right? But with like the pickaxe, you can't do that, I don't think. I tried to make, in a single player world, I tried to make like a paper shovel, give it unbreakable, and then upgrade it after the fact, and it just didn't work. So I'm guessing you can only do it with the higher tier of tools, but I'm not quite sure. If I'm wrong about that, then feel free to let me know. People are pointing out, however, that I do need to make the cleaver. That is a good shout. I always forget the cleaver. I always forget the cleaver. And every time I make a sword, I put beheading on it, and then the YouTube comments just like rip me to shreds. Like, Isaac, you turkey trash can, why did you not make a freaking cleaver? It comes with beheading, you fool. It's so much easier. Look at that. It comes with beheading too. It's crazy. All right, so we'll take this. Let's head on back over to here. What do we need for the... Is this the cleaver? Yeah, the cleaver. So we need a tough tool rod, a large sword blade, a large plate, and a tough tool rod. We've obviously already got the large plate cast, and we don't have a cast, I don't think, for the tough rod, or yeah, for the tough rod. But we can make one, I guess. Let's go. Let's start small, Isaac. Start small. So we need this. And I think that's pretty much all we need actually there. And then we need to make ourselves a cobblestone version and get some quick aluminum brass to throw in the smelter. Also, where did we get blaze rods from? I don't remember. Did we fight some blazes in the nether? Oh yeah, we did. We totally did. We went and we got we had defense, right? We went in and we didn't cheat, but we had somebody with us to defend us whilst we fought against the monster. So let's do this. Let's do that. Let's whack that down over in the casting table. Like so, and I'll just like throw that in there for now. It should be fine. And then we just need a little bit of no, that's correct. I want both of these to be off for the time being. Just a little bit of aluminium brass, which I think is, I always forget the combination here, and also it's aluminum brass. It's not aluminium brass. It's spelt differently. Aluminum brass. What do we need? It is 3 aluminum to every 1 copper. Okay, so we'll take 1 copper, and then I guess just 3 aluminum. Should work out like A-okay. So we'll do that. We'll do that. There's some in the chest. I think that's probably almost certainly true. T. Oh, in this chest. Oh, yeah, there is. Look at that. There's 4 aluminum brass, like, right there. All right, yeah, I guess in the case of... it's already going, you know, I'll just leave it. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. I'll use this in the future. I say I'll use it in the future. I'll probably forget and then never use it again, but I'll try and remember, and I'll try and use it in the future. So that's going to get us a cast for that. So how much... I don't think we have any cobalt. So it might be a... Ooh, we've got some cobalt ore, though. Oh, yeah, we've got loads. We've got loads. We've also got a little bit of ardite, and I think we've even got extra ardite. Yeah, we've got 19 more ardite over here, so that is fine. So is it a case? Let's have a look here. Manyullyn. Manyullyn is cobalt and ardite, and it's a 1-to-1 makes 1. Yes, okay, so it's not... Because all I was checking here was that we got 1 bucket of Manyullyn and not 2, because, for example, with bronze, you put in 3 copper and 1 tin and you get 4 bronze, right? So you get 1 bronze for every ingot that you put in, whereas with the Manyullyn, you actually lose ingots kind of as you're going. Oh, I am indeed out of lava. That is entirely true. I'm not quite out of it yet, but I'm definitely not going to have enough to get this to work. And so let's just quickly do this. So I guess... in that case, we need like... also, let me check real quick. Do I get 2 cobalt here? I think I just get 1, right? Yeah, I just get 1. So I'm going to have to put 8 cobalt in, like so, and then 8 ardite, which is something like that. So I think that should get us the 8 Manyullyn required to make that large sword blade. Whilst we wait for that, let me grab my bucket. Let's take you. Let's quickly get rid of that water, and I guess it's time for a quick trip back down to the mines to fill this thing up with... lava. Oh, yep. The chat is shouting at me, and for good reason. For good reason. Isaac, you turkey trash can man, you should put it in the macerator, because putting it in the macerator is going to double it. Even if you then have to smelt it again, we get double the amount of cobalt. So I'll put that in there. That is going to like macerate it, smelt it, and put it in that chest. That's fine. While that's doing that thing, let's head on out and go and get some lava there for Benek. Don't worry, guys. Don't worry. I read the chat. I didn't miss it. I didn't miss it. There we go. Easy peasy. Easy lava. We don't die in the mines. We don't. We don't die in the mines. All right. Turn it off bucket mode. And then once you turned it off, turn it back onto bucket mode so I can fill this thing up. And then Once that's filled up, off bucket mode, put it down there. We'll use that again as and when we need it. That is all smelting up nicely. Is our cobalt done over here? Look at that, 18 cobalt. I love it. I love it. We can use that to repair our hammer as well, which is good. And so we'll put 8 in there like that. We can then put that 8 ardite in as well, like so. And I might as well put the rest of the ardite that we have here through the macerator just to kind of get it out of ore form and ready to go. Isaac, could you check the TPS? I will do. /forge TPS 10. It's real low. Oh wow, that's not good. That's not good at all. Thankfully, it seems to be not. It doesn't feel like that bad. It doesn't feel like 10. It should be 20, by the way, for those who are not familiar with how Minecraft ticks per second work. But flipping heck. So did people suggest anything? I'm not quite sure what I should make my cleaver out of. So should I just make the whole thing out of Manyullyn? Or is there something else that I should use that will give me some other benefit, right? Because we need 4 parts. And while we could make all 4 parts fairly easily out of Manyullyn, is it necessarily worth it to do so? We could do what we've done with like the axe and give it, I think, a bronze or copper binding, or just part in general, I guess, so that we can get experience from it. But I don't really think we need experience just yet. Someone said Night Slime. I do remember Night Slime from my Feed the Beast Infinity Light. Feed the Beast Infinity Light playthrough. Tinker's Construct, materials, and then Night Slime. What does Night Slime give us? I did make my sword with Night Slime before, but I can't remember why. I think the last time I made it with Night Slime, simply because Night Slime is good. It's got a good attack and it doesn't cost that much. But does it give anything? Oh yeah, a good point that's been made in chat is the fact that the Ender is a sword that exists that I guess we could use in fighting Enderman. 7 attack damage is not bad. Of course, we are going to have to use a beheading Tinker's Construct sword for other mobs that are not... actually, I don't know, does it? Increase skull drops and ender pearls. Is this a better idea than a cleaver with beheading? Tinker's Cleaver can be 100% drop though. Really? Like you can make it so it 100% will drop a mob head? Is this true? If that's true, that's crazy. I know you can get the Ender and then you can upgrade the Ender, but the Ender is pretty expensive to upgrade. From what I remember. Yeah, you can see Vibrant Crystal plus 4 levels to empower it in an anvil, I believe, which is pretty crazy. Yes, really? How does one go about doing this? Is it just like multiple... like beheading upgrades? You could, if it's the case in 1.10, I have no idea. Okay. So, like, preferably here, I'd like to not make the whole tool out of Manyullyn, simply because of the fact that it's quite expensive to make the whole tool out of Manyullyn. You need 1 part paper to make it 100% chance. Really? Well, it is our lucky day, because I don't know if you've noticed, but we have got way too much sugarcane. Like, more sugarcane than you can shake a stick at. If I come over to the riverbed here, for those who haven't seen it, we have got, like, a lot of sugarcane. Like, a ton of sugarcane. Oh, here we go. Look at this. What perks does Cobalt have? Cobalt, I believe, is just better for, like, mining. It's got a faster mining speed than Manyullyn, which is why we used it on our hammer. It also has the added benefit, and also my sound is really low, I've just noticed. I normally have it up here. It also has the added benefit of being cheaper than Manyullyn, I guess, which is always nice. In before Ninja disconnects instantly. Oh, what's happening to you, Mr. Ninja? Why are you, like, insta-disconnecting? All right, we don't need too much sugarcane here. We'll just grab some. And so if we make one of our parts out of paper, does that give us enough... I'm guessing that gives us enough modifiers to put, like, enough beheading on? So I'm assuming you just put, like, multiple sets of beheading on to give it a 100% chance of beheading? Is my assumption there, but I'm not entirely sure. We're going to find out. But if we can get a 100% drop chance with mob heads, that is insane. That's going to make this so much easier, like, so much easier. So we get rid of all of this. Let us craft up some paper, like so. Kapow. Should be more than enough. And then I guess we can make one of our rods out of paper? Question mark? Asking people in Twitch chat, is that a good idea? Tough tool rod into here. Into here. Kaboom, kaboom, and kaboom? I mean, I made one, but... so if we do, like, this, and then, like... where is it? Am I blind? No, I'm not blind. It's there. All right. And then we can put this in as well. And so now we just need a large plate and another rod. Is that good? No, it will make trash durability. Just the binding out of paper? There's no binding. There are 2 rods, a blade, and a plate. So unfortunately, there's no binding that we can use it for in the cleaver. That would have been my go-to like idea there. But make the rod out of night slime. For what purpose, though? Like, what is the make the plate out of paper? All right. What's the purpose of making one of the rods or both of the rods out of night slime? We did waste a bit of paper there, but that's fine. We've got loads of paper. It's not really something that we have to worry about too much. Making one rod out of paper should be enough. Cool. So my thought right now is just like make these last 2 rods out of obsidian. Because I like obsidian and we've got a lot of obsidian. Also, is that lag or is that just like full or something? It's almost certainly lag. So my only opposition to using night slime is simply the fact that we don't have night slime, and going to get night slime would be harder than just, for example, putting obsidian in here. You can use bone to add damage to the weapon for the rod. Really? So you're saying make like a bone tough rod? So I think I'm just gonna make. How much obsidian do we have? 4 obsidian there, 1 obsidian there. Do we have more obsidian in here? We do. So is there an opposition to me making this out of obsidian? For easiness sake. Like if I make this out of obsidian twice, and then we just put a bunch of... I'll make 2 of these real quick. And then we'll put them like in here just to kind of see how the tool will look. So it's got beheading 2 by default. If we press shift. It's also got 4 modifiers available. So do you need beheading like 6 or something to get that infinite beheading? My suggestion is 1 obsidian plate, 1 bronze handle, and 1 paper handle. Is the bronze handle just for the experience though? And also, is it necessary? Like we've got flipping heck. We've got experience already, so I'm not too bothered. You can replace parts if it doesn't work. Yeah, you know what? Sure. I'm just gonna make this. I don't want to spend like 4 billion hours making a tool rod. It happens every time. Oh my goodness, there's the server being cleared of lag, hopefully, but it's not. don't worry about it, chat. Don't worry about it. But no, so we can use... So I think we do have some ender pearls somewhere, thankfully, because I'm not mistaken, and if it hasn't changed, the way that you get beheading onto, or you add beheading to a tool is with... not in here, it's in the... Yeah, it's in here, right? With ender pearls and obsidian.